pop stars on the planet, recorded her first hit in her brother's bedroom. No label money, no industry connections, no plan. Just a 13-year-old girl, a microphone, and a SoundCloud account. This is how Billie Eilish went from nothing to everything. Billie Eilish Pirate Bayard O'Connell was born on December 18, 2001 in Los Angeles. Yeah, Pirate. That's really her middle name. Already iconic before she said a single word. She grew up in Highland Park, not Beverly Hills, not Malibu. She told The Guardian that her family was poor when she was growing up, and she only had one pair of shoes and a shirt. Let that sink in for a second, because the girl who would one day sell out arenas worldwide grew up not knowing if they'd have enough. That detail matters. It matters because it's the foundation of everything she'd later become. Raw, real, and completely unfiltered. Her parents were both actors, and they were inspired by Hanson, the 90s pop band formed by homeschooled brothers to teach their own children at home and encourage them to explore passions outside of the traditional education system. That decision would end up reshaping the entire music industry, because instead of Billie sitting in a classroom learning things she didn't care about, she was home, creating, constantly creating. Their parents filled the house with instruments. As a child, Eilish would regularly create movies, sing in choirs, stage photo shoots, and write and perform music. Her mother even had a rule. No one would make you go to sleep if you were playing music. Music trumped everything. Think about that kind of environment. No bedtime if you're being creative, no limits on imagination. That's not just good parenting, that's how you build an artist. At the age of 8, she joined the Los Angeles Children's Chorus, where she honed her vocal skills and gained experience performing in front of audiences. She was dancing too, taking it seriously, building a real physical discipline around performance from the time most kids are still figuring out how to tie their shoes. But then something happened that shifted everything. She sustained an injury to her hip in childhood that ended her dancing career and contributed to a negative body image. That pain, physical and emotional, would find its way into every lyric she'd ever write. By age 11, she was already writing her own songs. Her very first one, written for her mom's songwriting class, was inspired by The Walking Dead and detailed a zombie apocalypse. Dark, weird, completely herself. While other kids were writing diary entries about crushes, Billie was building fictional worlds out of chaos and monsters. And honestly, that tells you everything. Now here's where the story turns absolutely insane. Her brother Phineas had been writing and producing songs as a teenager and had started his own band. He wrote a song called Ocean Eyes and decided it was best suited for a female voice, so he gave it to Billie to perform for her dance class at Revolution Dance Center.
Hi, my name is Billie and I'm going to play a song that I made up with this guitar.
She was 13 years old. 13. They uploaded the single to SoundCloud just for fun and watched it go viral overnight. Overnight. No PR team, no radio play, no marketing budget. Just a song, and the internet doing what the internet does when it finds something that feels genuinely real. In total, Ocean Eyes went on to amass over 6.3 billion views from one bedroom, one upload, one night. The song quickly gained massive success, and Billie signed with a boutique label Darkroom in the summer of 2016. She was 14 years old and already signed to a record label, already being watched by an industry that had no idea what to do with her. Because Billie Eilish didn't fit any mold. She wasn't the polished teen pop princess, she wasn't the rebellious rocker. She was something entirely new, and the world could feel it. She didn't blow up overnight and then disappear, she built. In 2017, she dropped her debut EP, Don't Smile at Me. Her popularity surged with singles like Bellyache, Copycat, My Boy, and I Don't Wanna Be You Anymore, showcasing her willingness to explore dark and prickly terrain amid shifting but danceable electronic beats. She was doing something nobody else was doing, whispering over beats, writing about anxiety, about the feeling of being trapped inside your own head, about depression and heartbreak, and things that pop music wasn't supposed to touch. And Generation Z, they didn't just like it, they felt seen by it. Then came the fashion statement that became its own conversation. Oversized hoodies, neon hair, bold accessories, no skin, no problem. Unlike artists whose bodies were seemingly marketed along with their music through form-fitting clothing and provocative dance moves, Eilish's ambiguous style was praised as a form of body acceptance and even self-love. She was 17 years old and already rewriting the rules of what a pop star was supposed to look like. She wasn't playing anyone's game, and that was exactly the point. Then came March 2019, the moment that changed everything. Billie Eilish dropped her debut studio album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? Recorded entirely with her brother Phineas, in his bedroom, on a budget that most artists spend on a single music video. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. She became the first artist born after the year 2000 to hold a #1 album. Every song from the album except one charted on the Hot 100. She broke the record for most simultaneously charting Hot 100 songs by a female artist with 14 songs. 14 at 17 years old. The lead single, Bad Guy, that strange, whispered, bass-heavy anthem, dethroned Lil Nas X's Old Town Road on the Billboard Hot 100, making for the youngest artist to have a #1 single. And then came the Grammys, February 2020.
And the Grammy goes to...
Bad Guy by Billie Eilish.
One of the most historic nights in Grammy history. She took home 5 trophies: Record of the Year, Song of the Year for Bad Guy, Album of the Year, Best Pop Vocal Album, and Best New Artist. In doing so, she became the youngest person ever to win a Grammy for Album of the Year. She was 18 years old. 18, and she had just swept the 4 most prestigious awards the music industry hands out, something nobody had ever done before, not at that age, not in one night. But here's what the headlines didn't always show. Behind the records and the Grammys was a teenager carrying real weight. Her openness about her mental health struggles, including considering suicide at the peak of her fame.
That sentence is like unbelievable to me, that you could say, like, you know, a 16-year-old can't be depressed. And thing is, yeah, I've been through depression my whole life. It's something I've dealt with, like, and I know tons of other teenagers have, and, you know, kids.
Adds a layer of authenticity and relatability to her public image. She talked about it publicly, honestly, without a publicist cleaning up her words. In November 2018, Eilish announced she had been diagnosed with Tourette Syndrome as a child. The neurological condition causes involuntary movements and vocal tics. And she shared that too. All of it. The darkness, the diagnosis, the fear. Because that's who Billie Eilish is. Someone who refuses to perform a version of herself that's easier for the world to swallow. And that vulnerability, that's what made her more than a pop star. That's what made her a voice for an entire generation that had been told to keep it together and look perfect while quietly falling apart. The momentum never stopped. She recorded No Time to Die for the James Bond franchise, becoming the youngest musician ever to write and record a Bond theme song at just 18 years old. It became a #1 hit in the United Kingdom. Then came Happier Than Ever in 2021, her second studio album, a more mature and personal record that showed the world she wasn't a one-hit wonder or a one-album story. She was an artist who was growing in real time, right in front of us. Then 2023 handed her perhaps her most iconic moment yet. She and Phineas wrote What Was I Made For the Barbie movie, a song so perfectly timed, so emotionally precise, that it became the unlikely anthem of an entire cultural moment. She won the Academy Award for Best Original Song for it in 2024. That's 2 Oscars. 2. She hadn't turned 23 yet. She became the first woman to win the Film Music Triple Crown, Best Original Song at the Oscars, Golden Globes Awards, and Grammy Awards. Twice. First for No Time to Die, and then for What Was I Made For. That is a record that may stand for decades. In 2024, she released her 3rd studio album, Hit Me Hard and Soft, and the records kept falling. Her song Birds of a Feather became the most streamed solo song by a female artist. The album itself became the fastest album by a female artist to reach 10 billion Spotify streams, hitting that milestone in March 2026. At the 2025 American Music Awards, she swept all 7 categories she was nominated in: Artist of the Year, Favorite Female Pop Artist, Album of the Year, Favorite Pop Album for Hit Me Hard and Soft, Song of the Year, and Favorite Pop Song for Birds of a Feather, and Favorite Touring Artist. All 7. A clean sweep. Then at the 2026 Grammy Awards, she won Song of the Year for Wildflower, making her and Phineas 3-time winners of that award. A record. As of early 2026, Billie Eilish has won over 180 awards across her career and holds 19 Guinness World Records. She has been nominated for 34 Grammy Awards with 10 wins. She has won both Academy Awards she was ever nominated for. She is, by any measure, one of the most decorated artists of her generation, and she is still only 24 years old. She is the 12th most streamed artist of all time on Spotify, with over 120 million followers on the platform, the 4th most followed artist overall, and the 2nd most followed female artist. Her music has become the wallpaper of a generation, the soundtrack to heartbreak, to late nights, to the quiet moments when you feel like nobody else understands. And through all of it, the fame, the records, the pressure, the scrutiny, she has remained herself. Loud when she needs to be, she has urged her fan base to become active voters, paired with city officials on initiatives to register high school students, and used her concert stages as platforms for political and social causes she believes in. She is not a product. She never was. So let's go back to where we started. A girl from Highland Park, one pair of shoes, a family that said music trumped everything, a song uploaded to SoundCloud just for fun, a brother in a bedroom with a microphone and a dream. From an estimated net worth of $53 million, over 45 million digital singles sold, and world tours spanning every continent, to 10 Grammys, 2 Oscars, 19 world records, and a legacy still being written, Billie Eilish didn't wait for permission. She didn't wait for the right label, the right look, the right moment. She just uploaded the song, and the world listened. If this story moved you, if something about a 13-year-old girl uploading a song just for fun and changing the world made you feel something, then you already know what to do. Hit that like button. It takes 1 second and it genuinely helps this channel more than you know. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we do deep dives like this every single week. Real stories, real people, from nothing to everything. Drop a comment below and tell us which part of Billie's story hit you the hardest. Was it the SoundCloud upload, the 5 Grammys in one night, or the fact that she did all of it while being completely, unapologetically herself? Tell us down there. We actually read them. And if you want to watch another story just like this one, there's one waiting for you right on your screen right now. We'll see you in the next one.